before did layoffs. Here's the solution: profit. That would actually, I think it would solve all of our problems. Maybe someone in the audience can answer this for me. How come every time I have sex with someone new, they play my favorite song? Which is the PS4 loading screen ambiance sound. How do they know? And it's important you note that it's the PS4 loading screen song. I kind of have a type. When Trump got elected, I sent the text I think a lot of us sent. Hey, I think we should start using condoms moving forward. When I sent that text, I didn't really get the response I was anticipating. You know, I put 36 guys in that group chat. And only one of them texted me back to ask, who is this? There was one guy I was sleeping with for a while, and him and I, we had an in-person conversation. It was a little bit more serious. I was like, hey, you know, if I got an abortion, you'd be supportive, right? And he was like, oh yeah, I have to be. I don't believe in child support. Did you know there's a worse answer than no? Also, kind of sort of felt like he kind of looped that one right back around to being about him. I live in Bushwick now, but I used to live in Seattle, which is sort of a lateral move. Just a quick little thing about Seattle. For a city that has a rampant heroin epidemic, I think it's absolutely crazy they picked a giant needle to be their mascot. When I first moved here, I had a really hard time navigating the subway, and I would get lost all the time. And so when I first moved here, I paid attention to like anything and everything that was happening. And there was a woman on the subway with me, and I noticed that something was falling out of her pocket. And I thought, oh, I'll be a good Samaritan, I'll help her. And it was a smart water bottle, you know, like a 3-foot long smart water bottle in her puffer jacket pocket. And so when she got up to leave the train, I leaned forward and took it out of her pocket. And then the train doors closed. And then I turned around and I went, guess it's mine now. And then I had to sit there for 45 minutes with a smart water bottle sticking up between my legs. And legend has it, I still have it. I do not know what to do with it. I feel really guilty throwing it away, and I'm not going to recycle it. So, I am bisexual. I am a gold star bisexual. A gold star lesbian is a lesbian that never sleeps with a man. I'm a gold star bisexual, which means for every 5 men I date, I consider a woman. I consider it pretty hard. When I came out to my parents, it was like the time where you still had to make kind of a big deal about it. And so I took them out to the fanciest restaurant I could think of, which was a crab boil restaurant. If you've never been, basically it's like you go and you order a bunch of seafood and then your fingers smell like the bottom of the ocean and Cajun seasoning for 4 days. And I thought that would be really beautifully symbolic of all the clam I was about to be knuckles deep in. I ordered for the table, so I threw a couple sausages in the mix just so they knew that was still an option. And the symbolism, it went over my mom's head, but my dad pulled me aside in the parking lot and he said, Lauren, I always knew we liked the same things. What do you guys think you meant by that? And should I tell my mom? My little sister is a lesbian because that's what little sisters do. They kind of do your thing, but better. And when she came out to my parents, it was during COVID, so she did it over a Zoom call. And so basically, we were on the call for a couple of hours, and at the very end, she just goes, hey, Mom, Dad, I'm a lesbian, and hangs up, and sort of leaves me there, like her PR manager, to sort of field any questions they have about that. My sister is dating, she has a girlfriend, and we were recently on a Zoom call, and she goes, hey, Mom and Dad, like, I have a girlfriend. And my mom goes, oh, does she like you? Yeah, Mom, that's the point. People ask, I've dated one man, I've dated one woman, seriously, which is kind of the quota I have to hit. And people ask me, they're like, well, what was the biggest difference you noticed in dating the two? And not to be stereotypical, but when my ex-girlfriend and I broke up, we laid in bed for 2 hours. And we cried. And we thanked each other for the opportunity to have loved one another. And when my ex-boyfriend and I broke up, he threatened to kill himself 3 times. And 2 of those times were via an email that he signed best. I don't want to assume, I'm assuming we're mostly like Gen Z millennials in the audience, and I know that like our managers are always like, be serious, you know, no exclamation points. I do think maybe your suicide note is like the one time where sincerely is the way to go. I was on the dating apps for a bit. I can't anymore. There's a hit out on me because my ex-boyfriend's best friend actually works for Match Group, which means pretty much anytime I make a profile on like Tinder or Hinge, I am automatically banned. But just to make sure that he was covering all of his bases, I did make a profile on blackpeoplemeet.com, and I have been cleaning up on there. I was going to the gynecologist a lot last year because I was experiencing pain during sex and I couldn't figure out why on Reddit. And so I went to the gynecologist, and you know, she's got me up in the stirrups and she's like listing all the possible reasons. She's like, oh, well, maybe you're allergic to latex, or I don't know, like maybe you're experiencing like, you know, onset vaginal dryness, or are you sleeping with any well-endowed gentlemen? And I was like, oh, yeah, I guess like a few of them. And she goes, oh, wow, I'll tell you your diagnosis right now. You're one lucky girl. And also I have a severe latex allergy. I like watching fantasy television shows. Anyone here like Game of Thrones, stuff like that? My favorite is House Hunters on HGTV because my biggest fantasy is to own a home, let alone have 3 as an option. I watched it with my mom. Recently they had their first throuple on the show, and it was amazing because it started like a normal episode of House Hunters where it's very clear the couple hates each other and they're diametrically opposed. It's like, she wants a colonial on the beach, and he wants a ranch with 100 acres he won't take care of. And then the camera panned over to a second woman, and she's like, and I'm Angela. And I'm sort of keeping this all together. I texted my mom, I was like, Mom, what did you think of the throuple on House Hunters? And she texted me back, she was like, I did not like that one bit. They picked the wrong house. Which is kind of all that matters on that show. I'm, a little about me, I'm trying to be kinkier in the bedroom. I figured I've cried during sex before, maybe I'd like it on purpose. I bought nipple clamps. Did you know your nipples have to stay hard for those to work? Because I found that out. I was trying to use nipple clamps and they kept falling off, and then I said, I swear to God, normally my nipples are rock hard. And then I sat in front of his air conditioner and flipped him as hard as I could. And he was sweet, you know, he sat down next to me and he's kind of like rubbing my lower back, and he's like, it's okay, we can just do penis stuff tonight. And then we did, like every night. I was on Field for a bit. You guys ever try being on Field? Field is Tinder for perverts, okay? The feet guys and couples trying to spice things up, that's where they are. And I was trying to be a third for couples. I figured if I couldn't get one individual interested in me, I might as well strengthen the love and bond of 2 people that are already together. And at first, it's amazing being a third on Field because they are vying for your attention and they are trying so hard. And they do this thing where they put you in a group chat, and then you can tell whose idea it was to pitch the threesome. Because they kind of take charge for both of them. And they kind of text you like they're a hive mind alien interacting with a human for the very first time. Every text message is like, we think you're really interesting, and we would like to get to know you more, and we would like to probe you deeply with my penis. And then 3 hours later, you get a notification that's like, Samantha liked a text. I'll finish with this. I have a decent amount of tattoos. My mom hates them. I do like to remind her that with all of these, they'll be able to identify my body when I end up in that ditch she's always telling me about. But the biggest tattoo I have is on my back. I have my entire back tattooed. It's of a tiger, and it's really large. I wish I could show it to you. And people ask me, they're like, well, that is quite the commitment. That must mean something, like strength or, courage. What does it stand for? It doesn't. I just sleep with a lot of guys who have ADHD. And I had to give them something to focus on so they could come. You guys have been awesome. Thank you so much.